Hey guys, Erica with the K here. Today's video is going to be on how to get rid of red hair or red undertones in brown hair and still keep those highlights or that lightness around the face. I regret to inform you that this is the best before I have, but when you see the after and I compare it to the before, you can really tell the difference. So what I'm going to do is go in with some Majorelle 20 volume, and I'm going to use 1/4 5.07, 1/4 5.01, and then 1/2 4N. The reason why I'm using this formula is because I like the depth of the 4N. And if you ever use Majorelle or L'Oreal products, you know what they do pick up extremely red. So you definitely want to kind of cancel out some of those red undertones with a blue and green base. So that is why I'm going in with the 5.07 and I'm going in with the 5.01 because that's going to just help control and negate some of that warmth from the 4N, but also the 4N is going to help conceal some of that gray, and it's also going to just give it a nice undertone or a nice deep dark brown color without having that red in it because we're controlling it. So what I want to do is just go in and just kind of do this as a single process, pulling it a little bit further down. She does have gray, so I am covering it, which is why I'm using 20 volume and not 9 volume or 15. And I'm just going to go in section by section and just apply this as I would a single process. I'm not putting any of this color on the ends or anywhere near the ends because I want to preserve some of those highlights as best as I could. And we're going to kind of consider this like a shadow root, but we're bringing it a little bit further down. This is why it's so important to work with a color line that you know and you trust, because you know exactly the results that you're going to get from it. I just want to say that even though I'm giving you my formulas, color is very dependent on the canvas that you're starting with. So if you're starting with someone with blonde hair, or if you're starting with somebody who has more red hair or more brown hair or dark hair, it's going to come out totally different. So please be aware of the color line you're using and tweak it as you need it per customer. You're always going to have different results if you're starting with a different canvas each time. Well, now that you get the gist of what a sloppy colorist I am, I'm sure you probably already knew that from my other videos, but I just want to start going through from the back of the hair, and I'm just going to drag this color down. I'm going to brush it through as far down as I want, and you want to stop where the highlights are. You don't want to interfere with those highlights. So you're just going to brush it down and then just kind of drag it down a little bit further, just so that you can go over all that red that's in there and just start negating it with the formula that you have. This is the same formula that I used on the roots. I'm literally just dragging it down. Since the back of her hair doesn't have that much ombre in it or that much highlights, most of our highlights are around the front of the face. That's why I chose to start with the back of the head, and just because I'm able to just bring it down a little bit further and just be a little bit more messy with it and then just brush it through. What I did on the very ends of her hair is I took some Smart Bond, step 2, and I just put it exactly on the ends of her hair just to preserve some of those highlights while I go through it the way I am. Because I am so sloppy, I just want to make sure that those highlights on the ends are preserved and that they don't get any kind of fingerprints on it, or they don't get any kind of smudging or just, messiness on it. So I did go on the ends of her hair as I go through it, and I just put some Smart Bond on the ends of her hair. The big glob you see on the side of her hair over here is Smart Bond, and that's just primarily where her highlights are, so I did just kind of preserve that. You can use Olaplex, any kind of conditioner, a deep conditioner, anything that you want, whatever your preference is. I just prefer to use Smart Bond, but that's just me because I like L'Oreal products. But it's really up to you, whatever you want to do, just to kind of preserve that and just protect it from having any of that color hit it and just smudge all over it. Think of this application as almost like an inverse balayage technique. where you're strategically not putting the color on certain spots of the hair. So I think I've been thorough enough on the application of this and preserving all the blondes and everything like that. But just in case I haven't been, here's a look at me doing it on this side of the head so you can see it a little bit better. And you can see that I am kind of going over some of those highlights, but they already have the Smart Bond on it. So I'm not worried about covering it because they already have that conditioner over it. Since, as I mentioned earlier, that there is some gray coverage that we are trying to cover, I do want to leave this on for 45 minutes in total. But since my application did take me a while, I did leave it on for about a half hour after I was done, which is very generous time, like very generous. I'm going to have a video coming up in the next few weeks on how to blow dry hair so that you have more volume. But until then, this is the end result. And I hope that you guys love this video. I hope that it was helpful to you. You guys can see that there is definitely no red in this hair anymore, which I love. Her highlights are still there, which is beautiful and gorgeous. And then I'm just going to show you guys a little before, just so you guys can remember what it looked like before I colored it, which is right here. You can kind of see how it's just way more red. She's still a brunette. She's not a redhead, but there's just so much more red right here than there is at the end. And then again, I'll bring you guys back and you guys can see how we got that out. So I hope you guys like this video. Thank you so much for your love and support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Until next time, work hard, dream big, eat cake.